Welcome everyone. I guess we're live and welcome to the stream, and we're going to be building an Android app and trying to publish on Google Play. This is going to be an exclusive live stream for those who are completely new to this. It's a beginner friendly stream. So what we're going to do is hop on and make sure we have Android Studio installed. So we're going to get a lot of guidelines and steps through AI. So what we want is these are three of the topics that I had. One is a daily mood tracker, the other is a Pomodoro focus timer, and the last one is a simple grocery checklist. So I think this is a nice one to do. So we're going to do this one. Now, what it does is that it lets users add and check off grocery items. Now, it's a practical because everyone shops, and we will try to get this on the Google Play, which the reasons why is because we don't have any backend involved. There's no data collection, and there are other things that are involved, which doesn't mean that you don't get it approved, but you have to follow and abide the Google's policies and guidelines. So let's go and start the step-by-step full guide. And then we're going to start from zero all the way to development and publishing it live. So um, now the step-by-step guide, this is a Windows machine again. So what you want to do is you make sure you have Android Studio installed. If you don't have it, go to this website and install it right away. Um, and just get it for your particular environment. And then what you have is you have to go and run the installer, install default SDK plus the emulator. Choose a standard setup and open Android Studio when it's done. It should look something similar to this because I have something already opened up. I will just go to a new project and it should open up like an empty activity. You could just close this one out. So if I could cancel this one and let's go here and it should be close project and that should remove that and I'm in the home one. So now after that we have to create a project. So we choose the Open Android Studio and we click on New Project. So again we go to New Project and then we have to choose Empty Activity and then click Next. So you can see over here Empty Activity and then we click Next. Now over here set values. So we say mood tracker and whatever you want. Okay. And this is the example for the mood tracker. Run the app and then now what I would say is to this prompt that I'd say I want to do the all steps for this one. So let's say uh, write me all the steps from beginning to end for the following project idea. And then we have the paste over there. And then there you go. Here's the whole step-by-step process. And again, we did our first part. We're going to the second part where we're going to click on a new empty activity and we're going to fill in with this details. So I'm going to go here and the docking. I guess we can't dock this window. But what we want to do is we want to make sure we have the name to set to grocery checklist. Just copy this and paste it right here. And then what we want to do is we want to make the package name as this. So we have com.your name and then grocery checklist. That's a convention. So com.example and then we have grocery checklist. You can just put your name if you want to, but whatever is fine. I will put my name, the com.example, and then I will put my name. Receptacle, or you can basically put coding cleverly. So I'm just gonna put coding cleverly, and then we have grocery checklist. After that, the language is Kotlin, and the minimum SDK is Android API 21. So what you could do is essentially you can go here and see that by default it's Kotlin selected. So we're just going to keep it as it is. And minimum SDK is API 21, which is Android 5.0. And you could see over here the minimum SDK is Android API 24, no good. 7.0, but I would go all the way to 7.0. I remember when I had an S6 Edge, I guess so. They'll go all the way down to API 21. I think this is Lollipop. Android 5.0. Awesome. That just means that your app will run on approximately 99.9% of devices. All right, that's the only minimum SDK. That's what software development kit means. After that, you have to set your name, whatever you're the Kotlin, you got it. My local path here, save location, is in the C drive, so it's going to be the Android Studio project. So you can keep this and remember that this is where your folders are going to be stored in. It's an Android Studio projects folder. Yeah, just keep it in a safe place, and then you move on forward with that. What I would do is I would open up a sticky and just I would essentially go here and create a new sticky note here and just cross this one out, and I would just paste this Android Studio path over here just to make sure we have it. Awesome. Let's just cross that out. And now what we want to do is we want the minimum SDKs there, and then the build configuration. We have Groovy and Kotlin DSL. Whatever is recommended, we'll just select that and we go to finish. And there you go. It's gonna build our Android app, and there you go. It would start after a couple imports, grocery checklist, Gradle project, and it will do all of the work for us, and then hopefully we'll get our problem solved. And then we have to design the UI. Open res layout activity underscore main.xml and replace its content with this thing. So let's go to this folder. So we go here, and there's a resource. So that's called the res. And then we have Android manifest. We go open up this, and then we have XML. If you go in docket on the right, so you can see over here, and you put this in the left, make this a little over here. And you can see that, yeah, you have this random doc. You could just make that smaller a little too. This is the main activity.kt, which is a Kotlin file. Now, you want to have the resource layout folder open up. So what you want to do is go to app, resource. Wait a minute. So we were in here. All right, so Gradle scripts, and this is the app, resource, drawable, XML, layout. Okay, I think I'm in the wrong one. I was opened up on the right one, then after that, let me see what's happening here. So I've caught on the Java. I don't know why there's so many folders that are created, but you can just explore this and see this yourself. Okay, so we have the app, manifest, Kotlin.java, resource, Gradle scripts. Um, Open file, expand, collapse, options, hide this, open this up. Hmm. So what you can do if you're like, you can't find the path, you can just say, okay, I can't find the path here. And this is a common problem. Like, sometimes you say, okay, for step 3, right? Is I design the UI. You can say, I can't find activity underscore main.xml. Now what you can do is see the attached image. You just put that in. And what you want to do is just send it, and it would help you out. So it said, thanks for it confirms that your activity underscore file is missing from the directly the XML file is typically auto-generated when you create a new activity in the Android. To resolve this, you manually create the layout directory from the main. Here's how. Or you can just manually create it for yourself as well. I don't know, for some reason it was there, and then for some reason it's just stopped. Um, and also, why not we just use Java, right? So because a lot of my videos were in Java, and can can you redo all of this and make it work with Java, or is it not supported anymore? I want the one which is fully supported. It was still fully supported by Android and Google. Your absolute safe to build. Is not for the proper language, but Java is still officially supported, maintained, and widely used, especially for Windows projects like your course restore app. Okay, so you have all of this, right? This checklist thing. Um, the resource manager, and you can just exit this out. It would basically include, you can exit this out. Remember that path where we specified this one? You open this path, and you can see that there was this grocery checklist. Had an app, and it had a source, and it had an Android test and whatever. All these stuff were in there. Now the thing is that we want to delete this and just create a new one. So no hard feelings. Go to Android Studio again. Um, and what we want to do here is go to yeah, it's removed here. You can just, remove this from the information here and then click on new project, go into empty activity, click on next. Again, you want to do the same information, but this time what you would do is you would click on grocery checklist and then open this up. And then what we want to do is we want the Java version, and then you can do that. So this is how much? It's 98.6, but when you do this, it's 90.9.9. Here you have the Groovy DSL or whatever Kotlin, but I don't see like option for. So let's see. So I say my Android Studio has these two options, and I want to check with this if build configuration language. Build configuration language. Does that mean which is Groovy or Kotlin? I don't see Java anymore. Is this the language we choose to build the apps? Now look how intelligent this is gonna answer it. You're seeing in Android Studio is the choice of build configuration language, not the language. What you're seeing in Android Studio is the choice of build configuration language, not the language your app is written in, which can still be Java, Kotlin, or mix. Here's what's the options mean. Kotlin DSL, which is the build.gradle.kts recommended. This means your build.gradle files will be written using Kotlin syntax. It's a type safe and has better IDE support in modern Android Studio versions. Now we have the Groovy DSL. This is the older style using Groovy syntax, still widely used and well supported. Now the important thing here is that this setting affects only the way your project is configured. Dependencies, plugins, build logic, etc., not the language you write your app's logic in like Java or Kotlin. Now, even if you choose Kotlin DSL for configuration, you still write your app in Java, Kotlin, or both. And that's pretty so this is just affects the way that your project is basically configured. The configuration dependencies, plugins, and build logic, and it doesn't really affect the language you write your app in. So even when you choose a Kotlin DSL for configuration, you can still write your app in Java, Kotlin, or both. So that's a uh, and essentially that is really nice to hear. So what we could do is we could just move forward with this Kotlin DSL build configuration language. When do finish, it just generates our stuff for us, right? And you can see over here it's loading, importing checklist and everything. Yeah. So here we have the files, and I guess there was the resource, and You can see a lot of other things, but again, let's go to the next part here with the design, the UI. So now you'll modify activity underscore main.xml, which also created under resource layout. So if you go to app resource, there's no layout folder at all. I don't know. It sometimes it creates it, and then after that, there's no such existence of it. So like I said, I guess it's not gonna be like. But then how do you use app and then resource and then there should be a layout folder. So why not just create a new one? So new, right click, and you just create a folder, a resource folder. All right, so I'm just gonna create a folder. Um, I wish it was auto created the resource layout, but it's not there. There's no. So here you have the grocery checklist, and then we have the app. We have the source only over here. So honestly, I can't. We have a resource, so resource layout, rest, and then we have layout, new folder. It's weird that it says Java folder. I don't know why. Source root for Java files. It's weird that I even clicked on it and I don't still see the folder name. New, Android resource file, Android resource directory, sample data directory, directory. Let's see. Okay. And then over here we say, um, whatever it was called resource res. And then we had a layout. So again, new, we have sample data directory, and we call it layout, and then press enter. Okay, there you go. And then in here we can create a file, which is called activity underscore main. So new file, say activity underscore main dot xml. Okay. So here we have the palette. I remember all of this, but we could add a button. I remember how you can just like insert a button. But what you want to do is the other view. So this is the layout view. There should be like a textual view. Create layout, add resource. Mm, So I want to try to like go to the activity underscore main dot xml and just copy all of this. So why not we just copy this, go here, and we want to go to the code section. I don't know where that is. You don't want to see the palette at all. Um, I can't find the file. I just want to see the file. Wow, this is pretty weird. There's Gemini inside this too. Wow, you just want to create a... I don't know, it's also giving like red underlines. Let's see. That's, oh, I'll say I clicked, I made an activity underscore main.xml, but it shows me the UI. How do I get the code view? See image. See the image. Let's see what happens. Design view of activity underscore underscore to search the code view where you can directly edit the XML. Follow all these steps. Option 1, tabs at the top of the editor. Look at the top right of the editor panel. You should see tabs like code, split, design. I think it was code, split, and design. I think I used to be over here, but I don't see them anymore. Main resource layout. Right click on the tab. Right click on the activity underscore main tab and open with XML editor or similar if available. See. Open with. Browser terminal. So I saw the new open in, right? But it doesn't have the XML editor. Okay, so let's go back here. Shortcut. Alt Shift and left or Alt Shift and right to switch between design and code views quickly. Once you do that, you'll see the XML code like this. Writing your first UI elements in XML. So basically the UI elements are written in XML. It's pretty strange and interesting. Alt Shift and plus left. Alt Shift left, Alt Shift right. It's not doing anything. Alt Shift left, Alt Shift right. Okay, I understand what that is. This is our XML file. Now we can write our XML here. Alt Shift left, Alt Shift right, Alt Shift left, Alt Shift left, and Alt Shift. Okay, I think I know. You have to select it and then you have to bring it down. But anyways, we're gonna go back here and we're gonna add this thing over here. So just gonna add these, paste it in here, and see what happens now. So we go back here and you can see, wow, so much layout changed already. And if you go back here, you'll see that what I added was actually an XML version 1.0 encoding, which is UTF-8. So we have the linear layout, and we have edit text, a button, and a list view. So what happens is that we have this all XML is used for the UI element part. I wish I could make it a little bigger. Let me see, how do you zoom in over here? So search anywhere. You want a magnifying glass, but what happens is that we have a linear layout. That's the outside tags. Inside we have the first property, which is the XML namespace, and that's this thing. All right. And then we have the layout width set to match parent, the layout height, which is set to match parent, the Android orientation, which is vertical device. The Android padding would be around 16 dp. I don't know what dp is. I'm guessing display pixel. But we have the edit text here, and this is just a textual bar. So you can see over here, if I do Alt Shift and I think Alt Shift and yeah. So when I do I wish I knew like, oh, there you go. I think view options, show system tooltips, and I think over here maybe. All right. So there should have been an option. Show system UI, show tooltips. Anyways, so you see over here, there's an edit text and it says add grocery item. So you can see over here, if I go back, Alt, Shift now. So you can see over here, this edit text, what it says, add grocery item. This is the text it said it was in the hint section, all right? The Android layout is wrap content and the Android width is wrap match parent, all right? Just these are some properties that you can understand, quickly understand how you can actually get that. Also, if there's any viewers, let me know if you can hear me. Put something in the chat, so I know that people are watching. But other than that, what you want to do is you want to have the, what's it called? Yeah, so I want to zoom in, so make sure that I know. How can you zoom in text in Android Studio? All right, and it will give you a shortcut key. Let's see what it does. So keyboard plus mouse scroll, hold control. Okay, control and then what's control? No, doesn't do it. Control and scroll up or down. It's not working. Then in the change font size via settings, you go to settings and you can change the font size. Pinch or zoom on trackpad. If you're okay, that's Mac only and quick set. What you can do is file and then go to settings. File, settings. Should be over here somewhere. There you go. And then you have appearance, I guess. So, yeah. So, Android Studio preferences or Android Studio preferences on Mac. Then we go to editor, font. So, editor should be over here. Yeah, editor, font. And then we have adjust the size 816 to 18 and apply OK. So, right now it's 13. You can just do, let's say, 16. Oh, you can see preview of it as well. And this is 18. So let's try 16 right now. And then we'll apply OK. It got bigger, which is cool. Go back here, file, and then we just make one more step, I guess, a little more. So file, go to settings, then go to the font. So in the settings, you go to the editor, and then in the editor, you go to the font, and then you can change it from size 16, you can make it to size 18 pixels, and then just apply. OK. It's just better now. Okay, and then you can see there's the edit text and it has the add grocery item. And then we have a button. You'll see, and the button has a text of add. Again, it has a height of wrap content. And the width is wrap content, not match parent like that one. And then we have a list view. Okay, this is a nice component. And it allows you to have a, a list of items. And you could see the default, Control Shift. When you do this, you see the default has a couple of items here. But there's the button, the add, and then the add grocery list. And this is our UI so far, which is pretty neat. All right. So let's go back to the actual part here. We go to the code, the logic in main activity.java. So we want to go to the main activity.java, and this should be somewhere over here. Like this is the KT one. And you want to know like where this exactly is. So I think it's in the Kotlin plus Java, and then you go. I don't know why it has Android test, but um, there's this com.coding cleverly, and then checklist, and then there's this one. And exactly, this is the file main activity.kt, and you can see over here this is all written in Kotlin. What you can do is you can rename this and make it into a Java file. So here you can see that they have that, so I'll just rename this file. So what we can do is go here, should be a rename, yeah. So renaming it to a Java file. Search for references. search and comments and strings, rename text. When I refactor this, all of this will turn red because Java doesn't understand all what this code is, right? So what you want to do is you want to replace it with this section. I'm going to teach you what this all means, so just wait. All right, so you can see now a couple of things are not red, but still we have com.example.grocery.list. This is not it. So we have com.coding cleverly, and then we have .grocery checklist. Now over here we have compat. This one has an issue, and then we have public domain extends app compat. So I don't know why it cannot find this one, and it cannot find a lot of these android.r.layout. And then we have these adapter things that we used to use. Again, there's a lot of things to understand, but you had components and how they're linked up. I don't know why I had dependency on Android X component. Sometimes these things just help. You just click on it and it works for you. So I just like added dependency and it imported something and the code just started working. This is like sometimes called magic or something, but it's not magic. There's a lot of explanation on it. And my goal is to make things easy to understand. So what we have here is the importing of the package, which is entirely this folder, and then we have all of these imports, which has the OS bundle, the view, the widget, and then the app compat activity, and then we have the array list from the Java class. Now you want to have a main activity class, which just extends the app compatibility, whatever activity thing is. Now we had the edit text item, remember, which was the text field. We have the button 1 so we add that. And add the list view, and then we had an item list because what we want to do is we want to store the grocery list items inside of a string array. So that's why we imported the array list here, and we're going to use that data structure. Array adapter is also something that we're going to be using to map out. You'll understand later on. So you can see over here there's an override function, and there's an onCreate method. Now what this onCreate method does is that it creates something. Now you'll understand later on, just look at this flow. Now you see that onCreate saved instance state, this is something that's required. Set content view. Now auto.layout activity underscore main. Now you understand that we're connecting the main activity.java with this activity underscore main .xml. That's why you see that the layout file is activity underscore main, and it's just directing to this file. I clicked on control and click, and it took me there. So we're kind of like connecting the two. Now we have an edit text item, and then find view by ID, and then inside the brackets we use resource.id and then we find the edit text item. The reason how you can find this is if you look at this thing, and then you'd see over here this ID. You see this edit text item? That's the name of this element, and that's how we're referencing it here. Same thing goes for the button ID. So you see the find view by ID, and then we're looking at the view. These are called view elements. So you can see the button. Button's ID is called button add, right? And you can see over here it's called button add right there. So find view by ID, and then we say list view again. That's the list view, which is this section. And you can see over here, that's the list view. Those are the default ID names. And that's why it's all matching. And then we have the list item list, which is item list. We initialize it with an array list here inside the onCreate. This is onCreate is happening whenever the application loads. So you have in the adapter and then initializes to the new adapter. And it has a context to this. And then what you want to do is you want to have the layout auto layout, and we have simple list item multiple choice, and then we have item list. So this is pretty interesting. Simple list item multiple choice. What is this? Simple list item multiple choice. So there's some other XML file. I don't know how this is over here, but it's kind of built in maybe in Java in this Android Studio, and that's why it's being referenced. But you'll see that that's the layout, and then we have the item list hooked up into it. Again, we're learning all this together, so this is pretty cool. Here we have the list view, and then we have set adapter to the adapter. Again, I understand that this is the list view that we connected before, from this to that. And what we want to do is we set the adapter to the, okay, so we have the adapter to the, and then we left to set choice mode. and set choice mode multiple. We have button add, set on click listener, and then we have new view on click listener, on click item, whatever you put in the edit text item, you convert that to get the text, and then you convert it to a string, and then you trim it so that there's no white spaces, and you put it in a variable called item. If the item is not empty, you put that in the item list, array list to add, and you put that item inside the data structure, and then you have the adapter.notify data set changed. So that's the adapter part of the thing. It's going to tell us whether there's an item list updated. And then what we'll do is we have the edit text item set text to 0, and then whatever it would be populated within our list view. List view.set adapter. Okay. So there's like a connection between these adapters, the list view, and the item list. That's why you'll see all of that. And then if not, it will just say enter item name, because if you didn't add anything, it would just cause some kind of question. It would just say, where's the item name, right? So now that's there. We have the main activity.java working perfectly fine for us. Now we're going to test the app. Use an emulator or plug in your Android device with USB debugging. This is so cool. Works with US Android devices. And then we can just click run and run app. So I don't know. I think we can play it here. Run app. See what error running app. No target devices found. So I guess we can go here maybe. Okay. Now there's no devices. Maybe we can pair devices using Wi-Fi. I didn't know that you can do that, but I didn't. Well, we don't have the. Now it's gonna take me some time, but give me a moment before I think. And I also want to see that my actual thing is working. So I actually opened up this thing. Let me know if you guys see this. But I'm coming back. Welcome back. So, welcome back. And yeah, let's just finish this up. If there's like a lot, then we kind of could have another session. But let's see how much we can get done. So this is the main activity. Again, this is where all the logic will be. And what you want to do is you want to prepare for the Google Play Store. Okay, so this is pretty weird because we wanted to run this app, right? That was our question. Uh, I need to run my Android app on an Android on Google Android Studio, but when I click the run button, so what happens when I click the run button? You saw it before. It says error running app, no target device found. So it says I get the message error running app. Then we said no target device found. You press enter and it will give you some steps. So let's see the error, no target device found in Android Studio means that your app has nowhere to run. Either there's no emulator running or no physical Android device connected. Why don't you want to use an emulator and open AVD device managers, click on the device manager icon, usually on the top right, or go to the tools device manager or click on the phone like icon in the toolbar. Create a virtual device. I think that's a better approach because I'm using an iPhone now and I do have an S21, but I don't want to go there. I just want to show you how you can use an AVD manager to do this. It's pretty cool. You'll see it. So what we do is go to the device manager icon and go to the tools and device manager. So let's see what happens here. We have tools and then we have device manager. There you go. And here we have the device manager. Let's see what happens. So then we go or click the phone like icon in the top toolbar and then we create a virtual device. Click plus create device. There should be a plus. Add a new device and then device manager. So we have the plus button here. Create virtual device. Select remote devices. Create virtual device. I clicked on that button, so it should open up this window. And there's a lot of options here, but we want to use something that's simple. So see over here, choose a device, e.g. Pixel 5, click next. So I'm just going to use Pixel 5. Oh, I gave Pixel 5. And it has an API of 30 plus, a width of 1080, a height of 2340, and a density of 440 dpi. Click on this, double click it, or just click and go next. This is the Pixel 5 dimensions, and 1.7 GB system image will be downloaded, which is crazy. I just wanted to see, I mean, they had more options, like click virtual device, and you have like a bunch of pixels. Medium phone, I don't know. They basically have pixels. I don't know, they're not gonna have an iPhone, but they have pixels. So what you want to do is just a simple one. So Pixel 5 is okay. And click on next. And then you got the name and everything. So let's see what's here. Download a system image like Android 13, x86 64 if not already downloaded. Click next, and then name it, and then click finish. The system image I think is the services. There's the ABI, which is x86 64, translate ABI, resolution 1080 by 2340, API level. API level is totally sufficient for what we have the SDK minimum for. And this is the Google API's Intel Atom system image. The system image is basically the OS, the operating system. And that will be satisfied. I will name it as that. I don't have to do all of this, but I'll just show you internal storage is 2 gigabytes. Expanded storage is a 512 megabytes, and yeah, it's a virtual emulator device. RAM has 2 GB and it has a virtual VM heap size of 256 MB. Preferred ABI optimal graphics acceleration automatic, and cores 4-core CPU. It's insane how you can make an emulated phone on your desktop. Mind blowing. But yeah, this is the Baklava API 36. It's called a Baklava. I don't know why we have it like that, but I'll just set it like that. Um, you have so many other options, but there's vanilla ice cream, there's upside down cake, but we're just gonna leave it like that to this API, and we're gonna finish it like that, and download Google API's Intel x86 Atom system image. And there was the pre-release one, but we just kept the default one and we press yes, and we're going to download this. It's going to take some time, but yes, you'll see the SDK component installer going on, component completing the requested actions. It's going to take some time, but once this downloading is done, the OS will be attached with the device, and you'll be able to see this phone appearing on the right side, docked with my Android Studio. But yeah, after that's done, what you could do is launch the emulator. What you do is click the play button next to the virtual device to start it, and then run the app. Now click run, shift plus F10 again. Your app should launch on the emulator. So that's gonna work. It's gonna work pretty seamlessly like that. Pretty exciting and pretty cool. But yeah, that's how it's done. Of course, this is all learning process, and you kind of go through this phase. But I'm believing it's like if this is too simple, we might just create maybe another app. I don't know. Or maybe we can make it better. Depends totally on you guys. But at least one app should be on the Google Play Store. And for those of you who not sure, you need to have a developer account. So uh, developer console developer account app. I don't even know what I'm typing. Um, but yeah, you need a not Apple developer. So the Apple has their own Apple developer, but Google Play developer account. Let's see, whatever this is, and it's a cost of it. So the price is $25. It's a one-time registration fee, and after that, you will not have to pay anything. It's a lifetime access. After paying the fee, your account is valid for lifetime use. Unlimited apps. You can publish as many apps as you want within the same account. And then what you can do, you can pay the fee using credit or debit cards and possibly Google Wallet. So that's how you create it. This is the developer.apple.com. I don't know why. A week of technology and creativity. And now the thing is, oh, there's a some some kind of WDC. I don't know why I'm promoting this, but who knows why in the future we might also touch into Apple OS. It looks cool. Uh, you know, so SDK, what's new? Apple Intelligence is a personal intelligence system that puts powerful generative models right at the core of your iPhone. Yeah, this is so cool. Xcode is right here. Swift is there. Swift UI, Swift data, and whatever. But yeah, I mean, we want to get this. Okay, that was cool. It's done. The SDK component installer completed. Click on finish, and there should be our Pixel 5 virtual machine. Um, and you can cold boot it. And you can do the other options. But what I'm doing is now this app, if I click on play, it's gonna run the device. You can see over here there's a loading icon animation. There's a Gradle build right now happening on the bottom and connecting to the emulator. So it's going to push it there. It's going to fire it up and you'll see it loading. It takes a little time in the beginning, first one, but then after that you'll see it popping up and the functions would start working. So let's see how it looks like. It's a pretty simple app, honestly. There's nothing that fancy. There's just a very simple UI. There's a very simple logic built appending elements into this list view using a simple array list data structure. So let's see what happens here when we're connecting to the emulator. Of course, how much time already? Like 51 minutes. We might close after an hour, but we might have another session related to the uploading process because that's also gonna take some time. So Gradle build finished in 1 minute and 1 second. I'll cross that out. Just connecting. There you go. This is your Google Pixel 5 on your Android machine. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, just leave it like that, honestly. It looks so cool. And yeah, just let it load. I mean, I had some concurrent viewers at 3 and then 2, 1. I know a lot of people don't find time to get on the view. Obviously, I also make the live stream unexpectedly, but and it's always nice to watch them later whenever you guys are free. But that it's booted, and this is how the app currently looks like. Okay, okay. It crashed. Something happened. Okay, so this is how it looks like. This is our phone. Okay, cool. Let's go back to home. Virtual SD card. I don't know, finishing system update. Just remove that. Remove that. There's some internet connected. Which T-Mobile internet is on? I don't understand. It's just Android Wi-Fi. Just leave that as it is. Let's go back. This should be in the grocery checklist app that we created. Stop. Why is it having a problem? I thought it was okay. Okay. I don't know. I hear some random sound as well. Just cross that. Take this out one more time. See what happens. Okay. It's crashing. So what we're gonna do is stop this emulator. There's a should be an option to like power off. Okay, and then you go to turn it on. Let's see what happens. Should be like another one. Close, shut down. How do you shut down this device? Record screen, snapshots, hardware input, extended what? Control. Yeah, we're gonna, I guess, turn this off. So I'm gonna like maybe turn this off. Yep. Oh yeah, that stopped. Yeah, and it was crashing for some reason. I'll just say that. Let's go back here. Let's say uh, I tried running the Android app on my virtual Pixel 5 phone within Android Studio with the exact same activity underscore main.xml file. And which one? Um, main activity.java. Main activity.java file. But it constantly crashes whenever I turn it on. It's, rate my typing. What do you think about it? Thanks for testing it out. If the app crashes on launch, we can debug it by walking through the following steps. Crashes at startup are usually caused by XML layout issues, incorrect find view by ID references, null pointers, or emulator. Setup glitches. What you want to do is check the logcat output. Go to the View tool, Windows, logcat, in Android Studio. Make sure your virtual device is selected. Look for red text, especially caused by lines. If you're unsure, copy paste the full stack trace here, and I'll help decode it. Okay, you can do this again. So what happens is that you don't see any red underline. So normally you would see something like that. But when I like run this app, it pulls up the same thing, and it has some weird sound. I'm hearing it on my headphones. It's some kind of static sound. But yeah, it crashes. You would see there's a log file that it generates. So you'd see um, where that log file. It's go to the View tool windows. So View and then Tool windows. Should be something called logcat. It's called logcat. Yeah. Uh, View tool windows logcat. There we go. And yeah, what's happening here? Let's just copy all this, and these are all the breakdown lines. So it was opening, and then it started crashing from here. All of this. Let's just copy this and see what's happening. From the logcat. Let's see. Let's see if it understands what's happening. The key error from your logcat. All right, you need to use a theme.appcompat theme. Oh yeah, remember that thing that we added. This crash happens because your main activity extends appcompat activity, which requires a theme based on theme.appcompat. If your Android manifest.xml or styles.xml doesn't define a proper theme.appcompat, the app will crash. Now, how to fix it? You're gonna have to check your XML, styles.xml, which is in the resource values. Okay, so we go to resource values, and we have styles. I don't even have a styles, man. Make sure the theme inherits from theme example. Check Android manifest. Make sure your theme is set in the application activity tag. All right, I think we don't. I'll just say I don't have a styles.xml file. I don't know what boilerplate it gave me. It didn't even add anything. Now the Android manifest.xml, I don't know where that is, but there's always a search option here. Should be, oh yeah. Say Android manifest.xml. Let's use. Where is it? Right there. Okay. But where does it actually exist? I mean, where's the file path for this? Right? Explorer, I want to see, where are you? It's in the app source main. App source. Source and then main. App source. Oh, it's in the app manifest, Android manifest. That's the thing, right? Android manifest. Hmm. Well, then where's the styles.xml? Let's see if that's there or not. Go search styles.xml. It's not there. Thanks for the crash. The crash log clearly shows the problem. This happens when your main activity, which extends app compat, tries to set content view, but the app has no app compatible theme applied. Since you don't have a styles.xml, that's the core issue. Android needs a proper theme.compat to render that activity UI. Fix add the styles.xml with app compat theme. Create the file in your Android project. Go to this exact same place. So resource and go to values and then create a so basically resource and go to values and then create a file here and call it what? Styles, yeah. Styles.xml. Now you have the XML file, right? You wanna, if it doesn't exist, create it manually with this content. Just put in this content, and it would use the app theme what they were talking about and why it was crashing. So paste that in, and it has some colors like primary dark, color accent. Adjust the colors as needed or use the hard-coded ones like whatever those are. Apply the theme in Android manifest.xml. Make sure your Android manifest.xml file looks something like this inside the application tag. So go to the Android manifest. Um, so we say this is how our Android manifest looks like. Clean and rebuild. This is how my Android manifest dot what XML looks like within what the which folder within the manifests folder manifest folder. So just paste in that and you'll see if it's actually thanks for your in using the theme whatever grocery checklist. This means that you define a theme in the styles axon, but it was inherited from the styles axon within what the within the theme dot grocery checklist. Create this file out, paste the content. Oh, okay. Let's try it because it said add have this thing Android theme style app theme. I don't know why. All right, let me just call this out. I'll just say, is this correct? Or should it need changes? Let's see. I'm not going to tell anything else. I'm just going to say that. So let's see what happens. Structure looks fine, but the key issue is with the theme. Yeah, you're using this one, but earlier you mentioned you don't have a style.xml file, which means the theme probably doesn't exist or is not based on the use a known app compact theme. Easiest. Change the theme in the manifest to a built-in app theme. All right, and then update both the application activity tags. Bro, why can't you just give me a perfect, right? Yeah, so there's an application tag, and then there's the activity. I can't find a theme for some reason. There you go. This theme should be replaced with Android app theme, and then we have style app theme, something like that. Okay. Just go, so Android application, Android theme. Let's go back here. So we have Android theme. So basically in the application tab, we have the Android theme, right? And then that's the app theme. So we just go Android theme, and then we have, just replace this, and then it would be app theme. And now I don't know why there's a closing tag. The thing is that there was a there was this tools target API, and that's why I had to like make sure that that's not on the way. Okay, activity Android name main activity. Is that there? Yeah. But the label grocery checklist. You know what happens over here? So we have intent filter. Do we have an intent filter? We do have an intent filter. Um, and do we have like two action and one action and category? So let's see what happens. Category action, and then we have category. I think that's good. Activity is closed and the application goes code. Let's see. Activity is closed and the application is closed and the manifest is closed. Should work. What we want to do is we want to clean and rebuild. So we want to make sure these run build, clean project, build. I mean, you can do that, but then build, rebuild project, and run the application. So what it says, run, build, clean project. Oh, okay. I think it's like build, clean project, something over here. Okay. Now, then build, rebuild project. Okay. Then rebuild. Where are you? I don't see the rebuild button. The build. Build. Rebuild. Where are you? I don't even see it, bro. Search it over here. Nah, it's not there. Then run the app again. Just run it, bro. Let's go here and just run this. See what happens now. My logcat is on too over here. Taking some time. Bro, why is this keep ender? It was like last time it was like that, but you know, the time is going so much. Let's just paste that in, see what happens. And it says failed to execute the target. What started by the launch. From the logs you posted, it looks like your Android application is starting up. This is the Android application complete name, right? But the launch of main activity fails at the very end after this line. Okay, this usually happens when there's a crash during the creation of the main activity, and this is commonly due to one of the following. There's a crash. If there's a crash, null pointer exception accessing UI elements. What happened? Missing main activity in Android manifest.xml. Ensure your manifest declares the activity with the right intent filter. So what's it saying is that Android manifest, right? So make sure that your manifest declares the activity with the right intent filter. Activity with the right intent filter. I know it has a label, it had a yellow line, but I just ignored it. So let's see what happens here. So we have an activity, an Android name, and main activity, and then we have intent filter, which is right here, and then we have Android intent action main, and then we have Android intent category launcher. And then that's the activity closing in. I don't know why there's a label here. Why you just remove that? I don't know why. Maybe comment that out. Why? No, it has an issue with everything. Well, that created an issue for some reason. Why is it so lame? What am I? What is happening here? Grocery checklist. Put it back. Put it back to the. Oh man, what is this? Control G. Other files affected by this action have been already changed. Oh man, it's so lame. Let's go back to the existing theme that we had set up. We're gonna have to save our progress here, and we're gonna continue from the next session. So I'm gonna put this theme. I'm gonna put this built-in compact theme. Let's see what happens with that. You update both the application activity tags. Theme. Oh, okay. There's one over here too. I didn't know that. Um, and then within the application. So there was one in the application, right? That's where we changed it. And then in the activity there was one too. Interesting. Okay, grocery checklist. I don't know. Let's just see what happens now. Um, if it worked. So I don't know what that happened, but it worked. Add grocery item. Oh wow. It is so lame. The reason is the application is working and man, cancel this one. The device is huge. I want to like add a keyboard text. I think write it with letters. Why can't I use a keyboard? Why is it so complicated? Okay, hello. Okay, there you go. So it's a eggs, and then I press add. There you go. Eggs is there. Bananas. Add. Oh yeah, there you go. Add button. Cookies. And then the add button is hidden, man. There's some layout issues. There's a lot of issues with this app, but yeah, you can see I'm pressing enter, and then you can see the add button, and then it, trims it. But you can select these and what are done. But yeah, this is how it looks like so far, but it's definitely going to improve as time moves forward. Thanks for watching this stream, and we'll see you guys in the next one. And it went more than 1 hour.